On our boat we have an automated laboratory, an oceanographic laboratory. It's like this big. It weighs 17 kilograms. So we accept this little extra weight to bring back home very valuable data for the science community about ocean temperature, salinity and CO2 and other data. But what's really interesting for us to understand and to help science to better understand is how climate change impacts the ocean and how this works together. The ocean actually are really important. They mitigate climate change. They absorb a lot of the CO2 and the heat. And some of this data we can only measure from boats, from vessels. And there are not so many vessels out there, especially not in the Southern Ocean. So that's why we really want to bring back home this data from the Southern Ocean during the Vendee Globe. During the Vendee Arctic race, we also have an Argo float that is a big buoy like this that we deploy in a specific zone that is determined by the scientific organization. And this will then float around in this specific region for 4 to 5 years and automatically send data, again different oceanographic data back home. So this is our oceanographic laboratory, fully automated. It can measure ocean CO2, which is very difficult to measure. You need quite a little bit of electrical energy, which we gain from our solar panels. To know how much CO2 is in the oceans is really important in the context of climate change. And it's an information difficult to get otherwise. You cannot measure that from satellites or drifting buoys, so you really need vessels to go on the ocean to measure that. And as we go through the Southern Ocean and through the Arctic Sea, it's a great opportunity to supply this information to the science community. This machine pumps seawater through the keel, through the system, and brings the seawater back through the keel as well. And in this white box here, it separates the gas from the seawater. So there's oxygen, but there's CO2 and other gases, but the main thing we focus on is CO2. And that's really a high-tech miracle how they manage in such a small machine to get very precise data. And one particular thing is that we have a calibration gas here. We have a bottle with CO2 gas, so that the sensor of this machine can be calibrated every day automatically with this calibration gas. So we really have the highest scientific standard, and the data gets the quality flag, the highest quality flag in the database. So this is an Argo float, or also called profiler. It's a scientific instrument that weighs about 20 kilos. It's quite heavy. And we throw it overboard during the next race, the Vendee Arctic race, at a zone somewhere in the North Atlantic that is specified and chosen by the scientific institutions. There's the IOC UNESCO involved, responsible for the ocean observation with these machines. And there are roughly 5,000 of these out in the oceans. They can live for 4 to 5 years with their enormous battery. And they spend most of their time underwater. They dive 1,000 meters deep and slowly come back up and just come to the surface for 10 minutes, send the data through the satellite, and then they go back down. And that gives, of course, a very interesting or important information with the depth profile for temperature, salinity, and the acidity of the ocean. And climate scientists that say that now, like in the recent IPCC report, where they stated that the oceans on average have already, temperature has risen already 1 degree, and those information is thanks to these machines and the network of this information.